Good afternoon, I'm Steve Williams and with me Brian Lowe from RugbyLeaguePlanet.com, and welcome to Game 3 of the Firehouse Subs Rugby League World Cup Qualifiers Americas between the USA and Canada Wolverines. Today, this is part of a 3-game round-robin series to see who will qualify for the 2017 Rugby League World Cup. Okay, Brian, this has been a competitive tournament so far. Jamaica is officially out. Their campaign over after losing to the USA on Friday night and then tying Canada 18-all. Everything is on the line between USA and Canada today. Both teams have to win. A new chapter begins for one of these two countries. Who's got the edge?
I think the USA has the edge, and here's why. 1, home field advantage, big deal in these kinds of games. 2, they have an overall edge in the head-to-heads. They're 7-5 against the Canadians since 2010. Admittedly, Canada's won the last 3. They want to make it number 4 in a row today. We'll see. But I also think that the preparation, the rest time the US have had, which has been a whole week, Canada's only had a few days since their last game. That comes into play too. I think for those reasons, USA favoured to win today.
And so for Canada, it was a miracle comeback the other night. Down and seemingly out 18-0 with 20 minutes left, they were able to score 3 quick tries, save their campaign, bring it back to 18-all. How important was that result?
It was huge because had the Jamaicans won and then had the Canadians get away with a win today, everybody would have finished with a 1-1 record. That means that the points differentials would have come into play, the points differential percentages come into play, head-to-head, tries scored, etc., etc. Now, that doesn't matter. Today, it's win, lose, that's it. For the Americans, they can get away with a tie and still qualify because they're sitting on top of the points table. Canada must win, all the pressure's on them, and I think we're going to see a good game of football today.
And so Canada the other day, they started and finished the game relatively well. In the last 20 minutes, there were some really standout performances that stood up to be counted. Which players in particular stood out to you? And who are the players that didn't necessarily have a good game that need to improve if Canada is going to get the result today?
3 players stood out for me from the Canadians' perspective. The Jacks brothers, Reese and Riley, particularly Riley, plays 5'8". He was the one who started exploiting holes in the Jamaican defence late in the game the other night. He was the one who set up a couple of the 3 tries they scored. His brother, Reese, who plays at hooker, very good, very good around the dummy half, quick off the mark. For the domestic ground guys, I thought big Jamie Kelly from British Columbia, the sheriff, no-nonsense guy, impressed the heck out of me. He loves the hit-ups, loves contact, makes yards every time. As for who needs to step it up, I thought their centre, Rick Shoughton, played well in glimpses, in starts. Handling let him down at points, though, and I think he needs to fix that up today.
And so for the USA in that first game, they didn't have much preparation time. It was a very simple game, pushing the ball up the middle, kicking it deep, keeping Jamaica pinned down in their own territory. They have had the benefit of an extra few days of rest, allowing Coach McDermott more preparation with the team. But what are they going to be doing, the USA team, in this attack now that they've had more time? You've met with him during the week.
I did. He told me that they're going to stick to the basics, the fundamentals, like we expect. In other words, 5 tackles, hit up, and then on the last tackle they kick it, turn the Canadians around. He said the problem with that is completing sets is fine, doesn't win you games. What you have to do to win games is look to do something with the ball. So look for the Americans to obviously take their opportunities when they present themselves, force the Canadians into errors, and then maybe ping it out wide because they've got some speed to burn out there.
And there were some standout performances the other night. It was played at a frenetic pace, a very physical encounter. Some of the players that we mentioned really stood up to be counted. Who are the players in particular that need to make their mark today? And maybe some players that didn't necessarily explode on the scene, but need to have a big game if the USA is to get the result?
I think Captain Mark Offerdale led by example. To me, he was one of their best on the night. In fact, he scored the first try of the series. He's not afraid of the hit-ups. Another guy who doesn't mind contact, makes yards every time. You can see why the London Broncos have picked him up. I thought also Christian Freed, guy playing hooker, brilliant. I thought he was an MVP of the game, actually. He is very quick off the mark. His quick play the balls are just something to watch. In fact, it was quick play the ball from him that set up Danny Howard's try late in the game against Jamaica. As for who needs to step it up, I think you're going to watch Ryan Burrows today. He's starting the game. The other night he came off the bench. He's a local homegrown guy. I think he's going to be playing very well in the centres. Hopefully, one of those guys who's going to create some damage out wide.
And so it all comes down to this. In 80 minutes of football, one of these two teams will have their hopes and dreams realised. For the loser, there is no second prize. The road to the Rugby League 2017 World Cup Americas begins and ends here today. Coming up, USA versus Canada, Game 3 of the Firehouse Subs Rugby League World Cup Qualifiers. We'll be right back with the kickoff. And so let me start by saying a big hello to all the players, families, friends and loved ones. And a big welcome to rugby league fans and rugby league clubs around the USA and Canada who are joining us today, watching us live. And of course, across the rest of the globe, from the Pacific through to Europe and the UK, where fans watch with interest who will represent the Americas in the 2017 Rugby League World Cup.
Let me say from the get-go, Steve, it's a beautiful day here in Jacksonville. Temperature's about 80 degrees Fahrenheit, about 25 centigrade. That's not bad for a game of rugby league. And if you can hear the PA announcements in the background, that's because we are commentating from the stands this time. We're not closeted in the press booth. So, you know, we're right out there, right with the fans, very close to the action, and we know it's going to be a big one today.
Mr. Nigel Wood, if you could give us a wave, Nigel, we would like to recognise you.
USA on the field, still waiting for Canada to come out. And so, as we look at the USA roster in the starting position, we've got Corey Makelum in the fullback. On the right wing, we've got Taylor Howden. On the left wing, Roman Lowry. In right centre, Taylor Alley, his partner, Ryan Burrows. At 5'8" position, Rich Henson. In halfback, Matt Walsh. In the front row, Nick Newland and Mark Offerdale. Dummy half position, Christian Freed. Second row, Danny Howard and Casey Clark. And in the lock position, Steve Howard. On the bench, we have John Purnell, Sam Council, Andrew Neasley, and Luke Barron.
Yeah, one change there. No, I'm sorry. I think it's pretty much the same starting, isn't it?
Yeah, Ryan Burrows is actually moving into the centre position where Danny Howard's going into the second row. Steve Howard drops from the front row to the lock position, looking for a bit of speed and pace out wide.
Well, as we said in the pre-game, Coach Brian McDermott wanting the Hawks to, you know, hit it up, 5 tackles, kick the ball behind the Canadians, turn them around, and then look for movement, look for unforced errors by the Canadians, and there were a lot of those the other night against the Jamaicans. I mean, that was what Canadian coach Aaron Zimmerly said to me during the week, that they need to eliminate the loose passing, the unforced errors, and just the, I guess, the trying too hard is what was going on that night.
So for Canada, we have Robin Legault in the fullback position, the right wing, Billy Gamel, and on the left wing, Adam Timler. In the centres, John Craig and Rick Shoughton. At 5'8" position, Riley Jacks, scrum half, Steve Piatek. In the front row, Tom Dempsey and Lewis Robson. Hooker position, Reese Jacks. And the second row, Christian Miller and Steve Bouchard. Playing in the lock position, Jamie Kelly. On the interchange bench, we've got Matt Wiles, Enoch Wamawa, Daniel Blasco-Morris, and Alex Boyd.
Yeah, they made a change. They brought in the Sheriff to play number 13, and coming into the 17, Daniel Blasco-Morris, as you just announced, and that was brought about by injuries.
USA Hawks. Starting fullback in jersey number 1, Corey Makelum.
Perfect weather conditions here in Jacksonville. You wouldn't think it's December. The 80 degrees, sunny, not much of a breeze. It's rugby league heaven here.
Oh, yeah, it is, and we're still in the autumn, so we've got about 10 days before winter officially starts here, so not a bad way to get into that season, is it?
Not at all.
And they love their footy here, their Saturday afternoon footy in Jacksonville, don't they? Look at that. Some good crowd building up already.
More people expected to come in through the gate.
And again, we're seeing a lot of Canadian supporters here. They've made the trip down. They've got the Canadian flags in the stands. They're wearing the red-white colours of the Canadian team. And obviously hoping for success from the Canadian perspective, given that this is their very first crack at qualifying for a Rugby League World Cup. Americans, I know, Steve, you think they're under a bit of pressure because they want to repeat, having been there in 2013, having got as far as the quarterfinals, where they fell to eventual champions Australia. I don't know. I think more pressure on the Canadians, given that they're a point behind in the standings, and a tie isn't good enough. They need to win, whereas the U.S. can get away with the tie, as I said earlier.
So as we wait for the Canadian national anthem, "O Canada." USA with the Star Spangled Banner.
Lovely rendition there, Steve.
Kickoff getting underway. Robert Hicks, the man with the whistle, partnered with Chris Candell and Steve Ganson on the sidelines.
Yep, all three from the UK. And I might want to mention too, a quick call out to the ball boy crew. Comes to us thanks to the local Boy Scouts of Northeast Florida. How about that?
Thanks for watching us live, everyone. Only one of these teams will advance to the 2017 Rugby League World Cup. Plenty on the line for both teams, both countries. Many years of preparation and hard work coming down to 80 minutes of Rugby League action. In 80 minutes, we will find out who the winner is, who advances. Plenty to play for.
Yeah, I think the USA is trying to play some mental tricks on the Canadians because the numbers on the backs don't necessarily coincide with the position they're playing. And I'll draw your attention right away to Christian Freed, the hooker, with number 2 on his back, which he normally wears in Australia.
There's the kickoff. Game 3 of the Rugby League World Cup qualifiers. USA versus Canada underway, and that's Nick Newland carrying the ball up. Tackled on the 15-yard line. Free to dummy half. Offerdale. Good meters so far. Second tackle. Freed again at dummy half. There's Steve Howard. Terrific first game against Jamaica. Freed again, scooting from dummy half. He's offside. The referee calling it immediately.
He's a heads-up player, Freed, isn't he? You see that? That's what I'm talking about. Guy is always thinking.
Another person to watch is the number 1, Corey Makelum, who had a terrific first game. And his darting, Ferretti-style runs of bobbing and weaving really caused havoc for Jamaica. We'll see if he can do this again for Canada, against Canada. But here they are on the 30-yard line. New set of tackles. There's Danny Howard playing in the second row position, played in center, played in the right center the other day. Offerdale hitting up again, busy already, 15 yards out. USA on the attack. Nick Newland in the starting lineup today. Passing out wide, Henson bobbles the ball, he's got it. There's Taylor Alley playing in the right position, head high tackle, and he goes straight over, and the USA's in to score right away. Early start for the US, right out of the gate, pushing the ball wide, caught Canada napping. That was Taylor Alley, local Central Florida Warriors player who's usually playing in the number 3 position, and the USA looking great there at the early stage of the game.
Yeah, Steve, exactly what the coach said they were going to do. They're going to hit it up the first 4 or 5 tackles. In that case, we've seen it from the start of the game. They took it up, got the penalty, and they took it up, and then eventually they swung it out wide, which is where we think they've got some pace out there.
A And you really put that entire play down to Christian Freed, who really in the middle of there, straight away catching the Canada defense, napping, pushing that ball out. Taylor Halley cutting back in, beating one tackle, diving over in the corner. Great start by the US, 4-0, 3 minutes gone, kick to come.
Yeah, nice start by the US. Nice control play. That's what they want to do. They want to control the game. They want to make Canada make mistakes.
And a bit of a breeze swirling, pushing away from the posts, pushing from right to left. This will be an awkward kick. Ball swings around and shy to the left. Score remains at 4-0. 3 minutes gone.
Nice confident start there by the US. Canada been on the defence since the game started. Only 2 minutes in, of course, and they've got to kick it back to the Hawks. So let's see if the Hawks complete sets and just what tactics they use.
Perfect start by the USA team, and they'll enjoy getting the ball back. And that won't do much for Canada's confidence.
No, giving up a try in the first couple of minutes. I mean, it took 18 minutes the other night for Jamaica to get their first points. So, yeah, Canada making not the best of starts, not what they'd planned.
There's Corey Maitland running it up, passing over Nick Newland. Just shy of the 10-yard line. Slow play the ball. Taylor Howden in the wing coming in for support play. Freed at dummy half. Steve Howard.
You can see the Americans always looking, aren't they? Always looking. Who's outside? Who's inside? Can I pass? Do I take the tackle?
There's Offerdale again. Keeps the ball moving. There's Maitland, bobbing, weaving.
Maitland, a late inclusion in the U.S. squad coming from the Wentworthville Magpies in New South Wales.
Great start, 5th tackle. They're going to look for they want to kick the ball deep. That's a slow play the ball. There's Matt Walsh, the halfback, and the ball perfectly positioned, pushing them deep into the attack. And this is a great kick and chase. And that's Ryan Burrows pushing them down. And this is the perfect start for the US they were looking for.
Exactly what the coach wanted.
Referee is calling too much interference in the tackle. And Canada a lucky break then.
I don't know, Steve. I thought he muffed the play the ball, I thought.
Didn't look like he had a clean pickup there, and that was his own fault. And that's a disappointing turnaround. USA already off to a great start, but now the pressure is on them. Canada with the ball.
So what you're looking at here, penalty to the Canadians. Looks like the USA...
And that's a great kick for extra field position. For those of you new to the game of rugby league, when you get a penalty, you get to kick what they call into touch and move the ball down the field. A fresh set of downs to come. And that's Shoughton with the ball. Didn't have a particularly good game. Lightning speed, though. We saw plenty of opportunities that he had to break out wide. We'll see if he can do it today.
He just needs to find a gap, and his teammates didn't put him into one the other night.
And that's Walmarwa with the ball.
There's another guy who's got no quit in him. That's Lewis Robinson, number 8 there for Canada, plays for the London Scholars in the UK.
He was busy the other night. That's a great hit by Matt Walsh. Great defense. Canada on the 40-yard line. Jacks at dummy half. Looking to go through, but nothing happening.
No, look, again, the Americans committing 2 and 3 players to the tackle, what they did against Jamaica, and did it successfully.
They want to put the ball up high. That's a deep kick. Maitland there, plenty of time. Swirling kick, he's able to take that.
Wow.
And the referee is...
That is a head-scratcher.
Calling that the player was blocked in the tackle, it looks like.
I don't think so, Steve. I think what happened was the 2 American players bumped into each other. I don't think he obstructed anybody. Anyway.
Very difficult to see what the call was.
Well, this is what we've been experiencing the whole series, that you and I not really understanding some of the refereeing decisions here.
Robert Hicks, who's a referee in the Super League in the UK.
Threatening the Canadians now, first opportunity. Let's
Jackson
see what happens.
Dummy half. Jacks on Jackson, he pops the ball up.
Yeah.
The referee said play on, and that's Offerdale with the ball on the 10-yard line.
You see, that's what they were doing the other night, Steve. Coughing it up in threatening positions.
Taylor Alley, the man who scored the first try for the US, on the 15-yard line, second tackle. Howard getting into action there. 25 yards out. Nick Newland. Playing for the US in his 4th occasion.
Look how many yards the US has made. Look, they started from inside their own quarter, inside their own 10, in fact.
And And the referee again calling the player too much interference, trying to pull that ball loose, and already we've seen a couple of penalties blown both sides, but the US again will get a fresh set of 6 tackles or downs.
Well, Firehouse Subs have over 900 restaurants across the USA, Canada, the Caribbean and Mexico. As the official title sponsor for the Rugby League World Cup qualifiers, we want to thank them for bringing this event to the United States. And you can visit them at firehousesubs.com.
Freed and dummy half from attack, offered out, cutting back in, pushing down on the blind side. Second tackle. Danny Howard cutting back in. Already making good yards. USA on the attack. Third tackle. Freed.
They're about a yard away, if that.
That was Casey Clark. They're pushing the ball out wide. Walsh pushing it. And there's Taylor Alley again, pulling it over to Howden. Cutting back in.
Oh, I thought that was a pass that wasn't thrown very well. Didn't give him much opportunity there for the winger.
Down the blind side again. Looks like Howard's going to go over to score. And there he is. That familiar try that they scored against Jamaica in the first game. And the USA back-to-back try scored in that corner. And they've been very busy down there on the right-hand side. Canada shell-shocked. USA up 8-0. Kick to come 9 minutes into the game.
Yeah, look, again, solid play there by the US. You saw it in their lead up to that. They took the hit-ups. First there was Offerdale, then there was Howard, and they stepped off the right and off the left, made yards. They got the ball, put it out wide, a very ordinary pass to begin with. They kept control, kept possession, got it out wide, and Howden, I think it was, who stepped inside, scored the try.
We were expecting a much closer, more physical first 20 minutes here, but the USA on the attack, supported well by some penalties, but Canada's also had their opportunities and they came up short.
And don't forget, the U.S. only needs to tie this one to qualify. Canada, all the pressure on the Wolverines. They've got to win, and they're not going to do that the way they've started this game.
Difficult kick. Again, that breeze blowing from right to left, pushing the ball and kicking a right foot kick. And, of course, with the American goalposts pushed back on the dead ball line, making that kick even more difficult. Is that Howden kicking the ball? Good kick, struck well. It's got the distance, pushed to the right. And the score remains at 8-0, 10 minutes into the first half. What a great start from the USA.
Oh, marvellous start from the USA. Just what the doctor ordered. And Coach McDermott will be pleased with what he's seen so far. No mistakes. I don't want to put the markers on it, but so far no mistakes by the Americans. They've been possessing the ball. They carry the ball has been great. They've been doing the sticking to the game plan. And, you know, 2 meat pies already to show for their efforts.
Canada kicking off. Rich Henson bobbling that ball forward, and
well,
you put the hex on him, and you put him on Jamaica the other night. So no more predictions from you, thanks, Brian. But
yeah, the kiss of death, isn't it? Oh, gee.
Rich Henson there, costly mistake for the US, and attack turns into defense. Canada will get the ball back on the 10-yard line with a fresh set of 6 tackles. Let's see if they can capitalize.
Yeah, that's the first mistake by the Hawks.
Jacks pushing it out, breaking free. He's dangerous in attack, and that ball was stripped out wide by Rowan Burrows, and he was able to come away, and Canada squandering that opportunity. Danny Howard again from the second row. He's already been busy today.
You know, Canadians are not keeping control of the ball, are they? That is one of their big mistakes so far.
Casey Clark, a player who's played for the USA team on a number of occasions, plays for the Philadelphia Fight, won multiple championships with them. Taylor Alley again on the right side. 5th tackle, kick to come. Matt Walsh, it's a wobbly kick, awkward bounce, takes cleanly though.
You know, today, Steve, I think we're going to have to see Robin Legault, the fullback for Canada, get more involved. He wasn't, yes, he scored a couple of tries the other night, but really he was just following up. He needs to make some line breaks, get involved, get that ball.
Solid hit by the US, not much distance gained there. That tackle. Physical, 3 players in the tackle. As Wamawa winding up.
Yeah, they call him the warrior.
Casey Clark, you'll be watching Casey tackling all day. Piatek back inside to Bouchard.
You know, Bouchard picked up a niggling ankle injury in the game the other night, but he's obviously recovered, and let's see what he can do today.
Macklin, there plenty of time catching that ball on the full, and that brings USA back to the 20-yard line with 7 tackles because catching the ball in the in-goal area. Canada wrapping him around the neck.
Gee,
USA back on the attack.
Made some ground already.
Well, there's Freed right from
Freed.
dummy half. So dangerous.
Isn't he what? Isn't he what? He's just taken that position by the scruff of the neck and made it his own, hasn't he?
Steve Howard playing in the lock position today. He was in the front row for the US against Jamaica. USA really going for some size and power in this particular game.
You know, Steve, I got with the both camps during the week, and the Americans made no secret of the fact that they don't want to just win. They want to win well today. And so far, they're starting that way, aren't they?
So much at stake for both countries. And that ball bouncing just inside the in-goal area. Referee packing down a scrum on the 20-yard line. Canada to get the ball back.
And the official medical partner for the Firehouse Subs Rugby League World Cup qualifiers is Southeast Orthopedic Specialists. Southeast Ortho have provided services to the Jacksonville Axemen and other local teams for more than 10 years. Visit them at se-ortho.com.
Great time for us to, of course, get through our sponsor reads. We would, of course, again, like to mention Firehouse.
So far, so good, Steve. If you're barracking for the American team, they've made only one mistake so far, and it didn't cost them anything.
Almost perfect start. There's one of the Jacks boys shouting at dummy half, pushing that ball. Piatek shouting, going the wraparound. This guy has blistering pace, and there's Canada on the attack. We knew they tried to push this ball out wide, and he steps over on the sideline, and a wasted opportunity, but 3 USA players mowing him down, and that's great pressure from the US.
That's Adam Timler making the bust down the side there, but I think the cover defense would have had him anyway, Steve.
Keep your eye on the shouting number 4 for Canada. Like we said, he didn't have a particularly good game, but we knew every time he get the ball, this guy's got speed to burn.
He does, and you saw that time as he was going down to the tackle, he offloaded with the left hand. So you know, that's always a good trait to have when you can do that.
Ryan Burrows playing in the number 3 for the US. Normally plays in the fullback position for the Northern Virginia Eagles. Playing in the USARL competition only in his first year of rugby league. Roman Lowry with his first touch of the ball, plays for the Philadelphia Fight.
Past champions, the Fight, as you mentioned earlier on.
Casey Clark over the 50-yard line.
Nice quick play the ball there from Christian Freed.
Both Howard boys have been busy today.
There he goes
and there's
again.
Freed again from dummy half. Referee penalising him offside. For those that don't understand the rules of what happened with the offside, the players have to get back 10 metres, 10 yards inside the play, and Christian Freed seeing them napping, not getting back on the marker, and that was part of Coach McDermott's tactics, was to push that dummy half runs, catch them napping inside that 10 metres, and try to force the penalty.
Yeah, Christian Freed again. You can see he's got the experience, can't you?
That's John Purnell, it looks like, that's come on the field.
And that's number 17, John Purnell of the Jacksonville Axemen.
Local boy, also playing in his first year of rugby league, and what a rise it's been for him, going from the Jacksonville Axemen all the way to playing for the US. But plenty of talent, plenty of young talent. Walsh pushing the ball out.
We've got some
Watch
advantages
Burrows,
here.
he's going to go, and he passes that ball over Larry, diving over it. It was an awkward pass, not perfectly positioned. It was hanging, it was a little bit low there, but he should have got it.
No, you know, I think what happened there, Steve, I don't think the passing was quick enough. They had the advantage. They had the man overlap. Had they moved the ball quick, they would have scored for sure.
Burrows like to back
Canada
himself.
dodges a bullet.
They really are, and they are under the attack.
That would have been a disaster for Canada had that become a score.
But Canada to get the ball back on the 10-yard line, the feet of the scrum going their way. USA packing down. Referee doesn't like the scrum. Like to have to put it down. The USA didn't pack down properly. And here we are, Canada on the attack on the 10-yard line. Oh, the referee Hicks blowing the whistle again.
Yeah, he obviously has certain expectations at the play the ball, doesn't he, around the ruck, because that's where a lot of the penalties he gives happen.
Personally, I'd like to see a clean game of rugby league where the whistle isn't blown as much, but he's trying to put a stamp on this game, and that's Shoughton with the ball over the 50-yard line. Steve Bouchard on the attack. Jacks at dummy half.
That's Tom Dempsey, plays for East Tigers in Brisbane in the QRL. He
Ball's
picked up
out.
an injury
There's
the other
Jacks
night.
again. Very dangerous. See what Canada can do with it. Legault at fullback with Robinson in the number 10. Not much distance gained. Slow play the ball. But they've always been dangerous on that left side, Canada. They tore them apart in the Colonial Cup, pushing on the left. And the referee blows the whistle again. The ball's been ripped out. USA doesn't like it. They think it's a tough call.
And once again,
And the number of penalties in this first half. Canada on the attack. Fresh set of 6 tackles.
Quick touch of the foot. We're back in business.
Inside the 10-yard line. Canada on the attack. This is their best opportunity so far. That's that pass. Look around. Jacks on the wraparound. Second tackle. Going to the right. Tries to cut through. Nothing happening.
Yeah, there's no room for in there, was there?
And there he goes again from dummy half. That's a wild pass. Canada's going to go over under the black dot. And how quickly this game turns around. Back-to-back penalties from the referee. 2 tough calls. And the USA.
And guess who? Jamie Kelly, I'm sorry, the sheriff. He scored that one.
8 points to 4. 19 minutes gone. Kick to come.
Yeah, well, it was good lead-up work that time by the Canadians. They stuck to their guns. Short passing this time. Seems to be better for them if they do that. And score right under the post. So you would expect that this would be, a no-brainer.
Very difficult to compete against that when the referee's marching them down the field. That's 2 penalties back-to-back. And what was looking like a gap that was beginning to widen has now closed with the kick successful, and the USA leading by a score of 8 points to 6. 20 minutes gone in the first half. We have a game of rugby league on our hands.
Yeah, we do, and the Canadians really needed to score to keep in touch because, as we saw the other night, they let the Jamaicans really put a gap on them, and they had to fight back. They don't want to have to do that today.
13, is that you?
That's Michaelim kicking off into the breeze. It's a decent kick. They want to pin them back down here. And that is Dempsey.
We're going to give that try to Perry Vaught. Some down there in the crowd with his.
Looked injured in the first game against Jamaica. He looks like he's responded well, come back.
Oh.
Solid hit.
That
by
was a
Casey
nice hit.
Clark.
Yeah, he didn't miss him, did he?
Back on the left side. That's Legault. Jacks from dummy half, pushing to the right. And nothing happening there. On the 40-yard line. Still on the attack. Canada kicking early, trying to catch USA napping. And that's a great kick from Canada. Deep into USA territory. Great set of 6.
And a special thank you to the law officers of John Phillips for bringing us the Jacksonville Axe Maidens performance. For personal injury, criminal defense, and family law, find them at floridajustice.com.
And that's the advantage with Canada there, kicking early in the tackle count, catching the wingers Roman Lowry, napping in defense. Michaelim on his own back and not able to get the ball. USA on the attack. Oh no, he's calling that was a 40-20. Well, 40-20 is if the kick inside the 40-yard line. They're shouting. Still keeping it alive. He's lost that. And the USA gets out of jail on that play. That could have easily turned into points for Canada. Shouting again.
You know what that was, Steve? That was trying too hard. That was pushing the pass unnecessarily right there.
Comes down from experience in big games. That's Offerdale leading by example. Keeping that ball moving. Look at him still going.
Yeah, he makes 5 to 10 yards every time he hits up.
Danny Howard, bit high that tackle.
That's going to be a penalty. No,
Freed
I thought it
again
was.
is
Yeah, I thought he was.
Fifth tackle, fifth and last. Want to push the ball wide. And that's inexperience from the US. Not putting that ball down deep in the territory, and they turn the ball over on the 40-yard line for Canada, and we've got a player down injured for the USA.
Yeah, that was John Purnell. I thought he should have offloaded that time, Steve. No way you take that tackle on in that part of the game, that part of the field.
I didn't see the play that happened. Was it a head-high tackle?
I missed that one. I don't know. We need to thank the Sheraton Jacksonville Hotel and the Holiday Inn Express in Jacksonville Beach for hosting the national teams of the USA, Jamaica, and Canada. That was good. I mean, look, ball and all defense, great there from Canada. Can't fault them. But I thought Purnell erred by not offloading.
And that was actually Corey Maitland the down, but he's up and he looks okay now. Canada back on the attack, 40-yard line. Adam Timler for Canada. Reece Jacks at dummy half.
That's the Sheriff taking it up again. He's like Offerdale, isn't he, on the Canadian team?
I'd say more like Casey Clark, if you ask me. They look like twins if you put them side by side. Canada in good field position, just outside the 30. The ball slightly forward. Referee saying okay.
You see Reece Jacks going left, then going right real quick from
yeah, they are quick to spread this ball around.
Yeah.
And this will be part of their game plan. The ball has popped out loose, and the referee saying still more, and I'm not sure how that was
I think
considered.
he said 6 to go, Steve. It must have come, was it ripped out? Or, I don't know. Couldn't see.
How quickly the game turns around. Oh, that's a yawning gap there. The referee calling a forward pass, though, and the ball, what was an opportunity for attack, has been lost, and USA will get the ball back, and that is a get-out-of-jail card. But I think they were a little unlucky in the way that ball popped out. And the USA will get the ball back with the feed of the scrum and the 10-yard line.
I think that's a case of the USA dodging a bullet. That's the first time we've said that in this series.
This game already moving at a quick pace here for both teams. We're 15 minutes left in the first half. It's been a lightning start by both teams. Fitness will come into play. Freed, Maitland getting busy, almost having that ball pulled out.
Canada putting
Canada all over them in tackles.
There.
Sam Carson on. Freed again. Luke Barron.
In the unlikely event that we do need an orthopedic person on site.
Sam Carson again already taking pressure off the forwards, giving the others a rest. Freed kicking early in the tackle count. That's a nice kick. Let's see how the chase is.
Good weighted kick, that one. Didn't roll into the end goal.
Matt Walsh taking that tackle on Robin Legault. Already pushing that ball out wide, Canada. Both teams busy, and
there's a heads-up play by Matt Walsh.
Sloppy play the ball by Canada, and USA on the attack. Luke Barron almost copying that ball out. He regathers it. He had his heart in his throat when he caught that ball. Danny Howard looking to settle things down. USA in great field possession. They want to capitalize on this. Sam Carson on the attack. Pushing it wide. Rich Henson looking to go.
Good goal line defense from the Canadians that time.
Fifth and last tackle. What can they do? Again, they push it out wide. And that was the turnover there. Not getting a kicking goal, and Canada will get the ball back.
Well, that was a good set from the Canadian standpoint, wasn't it? Because they defended, they didn't let him through. Had a couple of opportunities, the Hawks.
Teams already starting to put hands on hips. This has been a frenetic pace, and unlike the other day, it's not cold conditions. It is warm out there.
Oh, yeah, beautiful day for rugby league here in Jacksonville, Florida. Gotta say.
Tackle. Luke Barron. Jacks at dummy half. Slow play the ball. It's Robinson again.
lovely and talented Jacksonville ex-Maidens to purchase those tickets.
He's been pretty quiet so far, Steve. He's only had a couple of hit-ups.
The Canadian Wolverines again.
That's his partner, Dempsey.
Middle of the field.
Oh,
And that ball
And the referee calling the strip again. There is absolutely no room for error with these teams if the ball comes out.
one-on-one tackle.
yeah. City and venue partners from the University of North Florida, the city of Jacksonville and the city of DeLand have made these games possible in Florida. We want to thank them for their support in growing rugby league in the United States. That was silly play, you have to say. Coach McDermott won't be happy with that.
Kicking for extra field advantage. I think some of these calls have been a little inconsistent both ways. On the attack, Canada. 30 yards out. Referee has not signalled the play to start properly. They're going to restart that tackle. No, 2 balls on the field, sorry. It's Christian Miller.
That's the ex-CFL player there.
That was a sloppy play the ball, and the referee has seen it and called it. Again, the play the ball, the player is to get up and push the ball behind them. And at that point, the team that is 10 yards back can then move on the attack. But Canada has squandered that opportunity, and the USA will get the ball back on the 30-yard line.
You know, that's unforgivable at this level. You should know how to play the ball, shouldn't you? You're playing international rugby league here. You should know the basics.
It is pretty simple stuff, and unfortunately, these are the errors that can be so costly. Matt Walsh to feed the scrum.
Couple of places we do need to thank today.
Referee doesn't like it.
Have hosted the teams for the Firehouse Subs Rugby League World Cup qualifiers.
And it fielded again,
Teams did arrive into Jacksonville.
and it looked just like the first one.
What are you saying?
Roman Lowry in the attack.
Maybe he likes the instant replay.
Administrators have been staying at
That's Ali Steve Howard.
Jacksonville. That's here on Deerwood Parkway, just by the St. Johnstown Centre. I know all the
Freed
players
from dummy half, not much happening.
No, they wrapped him up quickly that time.
Maitland, let's see what we can do. Push the ball out wide. There's Barron.
we thank the Sheridan Jacksonville for their hospitality. Being the nice people
Halfway line for the US.
host nation, we did put
John Purnell, local Axeman player. And there's the cheer from the Axeman fans.
prime tourist destinations.
Fantastic conditions today here. Maitland down the blind side. That ball popped out. USA really some sloppy passes and play the balls, and what was a perfect start from them has quickly turned into a bunch of errors. These players already tired.
The first quarter, USA didn't make a mistake and they got up in front 8-0. So far in the second quarter, not so much, as you say. You know, unforced errors right there.
Score 8-6, just shy of 11 minutes left in the first half. Jacks at dummy half. On the halfway line, Jacks again. Oh,
that's a
that was a
little
high
high.
hit. The referee letting it go. He'll be feeling that one.
Yeah, he got away with one there.
There's Piatek shouting, almost breaking through. Oh, he's so unlucky, but the USA was able to hang on for dear life. Piatek again at halfback, pushing it out to Jacks. Looking to step inside. Nothing happening. 5th tackle. 30 yards out. Don't want to put in a towering kick. Easily taken by Maitland. And he's out broken through. He's straight up through the middle. What can he do? Great run by Maitland, turning defense into attack, and the USA will want to move that ball quickly. 2nd tackle. It's Howden. There's Burrows finally getting the action. Hasn't seen much of the ball today. Usually used to playing in the fullback position. Laying over him in the tackle. Sam Carson. Again, calling this game live from the University of North Florida. I'm Steve Williams, and with me, Brian Lowe from RugbyLeaguePlanet.com.
Steve, the Canadian defensive pattern pretty good. They've stiffened up since that first quarter, and then another mistake there by the Hawks.
And the US not getting that kick and attack that they would have liked, and the Canada will get the ball on the 6th tackle and possession in their own half. Wasted opportunity.
Yeah, let's see if the Canadians can capitalize on that.
2nd tackle. Both teams active. Tom Dempsey
Yeah, you can see that one coming.
And this is where already both teams are getting tired, laying in the tackle, the referee not having anything to do with it. This heat is beating down on the teams.
Yeah, look, the American player lying all over the ball carrier, and in fact holding him back, trying to hold him down. Can't do that.
Piatek on the attack. Piatek kicking for extra field advantage. They are 10 yards out. Canada in excellent field position. USA hanging on for dear life in set of 6. 5 yards out, second tackle.
Oh, that was a knock on. I thought he knocked that on, Steve.
Referee didn't see it. He looked to see if he could play it, dive over, but no, he's going to go for it. But the referee is saying he's held up. The referee looks like he's going to call that try. I don't agree with it, but he's got it.
Wow.
And how quickly the game has turned. What was a perfect start from the USA with back-to-back tries in Canada. Now clawing their way back, and they are leading 10 points to 8 with 8 minutes left in the first half.
Yeah, was that Riley Jacks who scored that? I couldn't tell from here.
Corey Makelum, they're leaving the field for the US in the fullback position. He is struggling, walking slowly.
Yeah, look, he hasn't been 100% since he got treatment back here a few minutes ago, has he?
And that'll be a big loss for the US team. He was so damaging in that first game against Jamaica, his darting, weaving runs, but he does not look well.
Players and volunteers from the Jacksonville Axemen and the Central Florida Warriors played a big part in event operations. You can find all rugby league teams in the USA by visiting usarl.com.
Well, the momentum really with Canada now. It's swung again. A game of this half has been broken into two.
Yeah, it's been a game of quarters, hasn't it?
It really has, and some unforced errors by the US team. That one on the halfway line, very costly.
It's the first time the Americans have been behind the whole series.
Canada with a great kick there, and they have widened that gap to 12 points to 8. 6.5 minutes left in the first half.
Yeah, well, it was good play by the Canadians. I mean, fair play to them. You weren't happy with the penalty they got, and well, you know, that's the way it goes in football, isn't it?
Referee Hicks signaling to Corey Makelum to get away from the field. Not sure if it's a concussion or what he's asked, but he's asked him to leave the field of play. And here we go on the attack, Canada with the ball back. That's a great deep kick so far. USA really needs to take advantages and be the next one to score if they're going to stay in this game.
Remember, USA only needs a tie to advance. Canada needs the win. Tie isn't going to do them any good.
Great defense by the US. That was Wamawa attacking for Canada. Christian Miller.
You're starting to get a roll on the Canadian forwards.
They really are.
They're starting to believe in themselves now. Oh, look at that. Wamawa.
Bumping run. Danny Howard being pushed back. Jacks again from dummy half. Piatek. Oh, great tackle there on Steve Bouchard.
Yeah, that was a nice tackle to stop the play right there in his tracks.
And Ryan Burrows, let's see if we can do it open space. He can move once he gets the ball. Oh, big hit. That snapped his head back.
Steve Bouchard smacked him.
And the referee doesn't like it, saying too much activity in the tackle. And boy, oh boy, Ryan Burrows, you could see his head whip back with that shot. But
he's going to feel that one tonight.
Oh, that's a sloppy kick and very, very lucky for the USA. But in great field position.
Doesn't matter if it goes out by feet or inches, as long as it goes out, right?
Really doesn't. The USA, they need some possession in order just to slow things down and get Canada tired. Canada having the weight of this possession in the last 20 minutes. USA on the attack, 15 yards out. Howard keeping that ball alive. That's freed.
Nice put to ground there nicely.
His brother Danny moving through. Great space. Looks like he's gotten over. The USA looks like they're going to score. Referee Robert Hicks blows it. And the USA have quickly been able to turn this around. Back on the board. We have an even ball game with the kick to come.
Wow. That was
Who scored that one?
Sheer determination. Sheer determination there by Howard, wasn't it?
Danny Howard, number 11, great run, 10 yards out. Not much of a gap, he found it, spinning and weaving.
That would be Danny
And the
Howard.
USA, they are back in the game and look like that they were on their knees there, but
Drinks run, Bruce Lover after
He wasn't to be denied. Spinning and weaving, as you said. I thought they were going to hold him up in the in goal, but he managed to roll over and dot that ball down.
lemon drop.
and credit goes to Ryan Burrows there on that kick return, being able to run that ball back, and he's an electrifying runner. He's moved back to the fullback position with Corey Maitland being injured. Looks like we'll see more of Burrows in action today, and great kick down the side by Matt Walsh, an excellent field position, and Danny Howard over to score.
And they've changed the kicker. They're sticking with Howden, aren't they? Freed started. He did well the other night.
And the kick successful. The USA leading by a score of 14 points to 12. 2.5 minutes left in the first half. Who's impressed you so far today, Brian?
Oh, gee. I still think Offerdale's played well. I think Freed's played well. For the US, I think for Canada, I think the Sheriff is playing well, and the Jacks brothers. I mean, like we said at the outset, they were the guys who are going to make the difference. And I think Shoughton's having a better game today.
Shoughton's having a much better game. Again, blistering pace once he gets that ball.
And Jacksonville Jaguar and NFL legend Mike Hollis is joining us today for a halftime kicking demonstration. After a 9-year NFL career, you can now find Mike at proformkicking.com.
That's Steve Howard running the ball up, getting driven back in attack, able to hold his line.
Long-time action fans since day one.
Taylor Alley.
John Purnell on right now.
Steve, we were expecting an even contest. We're getting it so far.
So much on the line for both these teams. The winner moves on to the 2017 Rugby League World Cup. No second prize for this game.
No, losers left to lament what could have been.
Roman Lowry. Down the blind side. Danny Howard again, this try scorer. Been one of the USA's best today. Christian Freed kicking early. Great kick and chase. That ball too much.
Yeah, too much weight on at that time.
That's a shame for the US. It was about to pin them down, and Canada will get the ball back with an extra tackle, an extra down. US looking to slow things down. 1 minute left on the clock, leading by a score of 14 points to 12. What an exciting first half of football.
It has been. It has been. It's been try for, well, I wouldn't say try for try. It's been a game of quarters, as you said before. And, you know, I still think the Canadians have been defending well. They've been hitting it up much better than they did the other night. I think that you can safely say they're playing a lot better than they did the other night.
And the referee is calling rip that ball out. USA players don't agree with it.
Well, that's a 2-to-1 ratio in favour of Canada in terms of penalties so far.
And how defense turns into attack, and what was great field position. Now Canada on the attack, 30 yards out. Little chip and chase. He's able to break that through, and Ryan Burrows caught.
Oh,
and
man.
How quickly Canada was able to turn that beautiful little partnership. And the referee calling a try to Canada. 7 seconds left on the clock. Heartbreak for the USA.
That was a brilliant play, wasn't that? Was a heads-up play. You saw Shoughton out to Reese Jacks, a little chip kick. His brother Riley Johnny on the spot, scooped it up, beat the fullback, and scores next to the post. I mean, lovely. As a former commentator in Brisbane used to say, champagne football right there. Mick Vivers, remember him?
I do indeed. Both teams will be frustrated with the amount of penalties in this game, and unfortunately it doesn't allow for a free-flowing attack, and teams have really been marched down the field more with the help of the referee than playing the ball. Kick successful. The gap now 4 points, and that is 18 points to 4. Canada leading USA. 40 minutes of football left.
18, USA Hawks 14 at half time.
Pretty close, Steve. Pretty close. It's, well, 4 tries to 3 in favour of the Canadians. Doesn't get much closer. And that was a heads-up play at the very end there. I think, yeah, I don't know that you can say Canada is deserved leaders at this point, because I thought the Americans did well, particularly in the first quarter. Second quarter goes to Canada, so maybe, you know, based on that, it's a case of well, you know, even Stevens, and they've got the noses in front. We'll see what happens in the second half.
And I noticed the captain of the USA team, Mark Offerdale, having words with the referee, Robert Hicks. He was not happy about these penalties that have been taking place, and he really was saying a few words to the referee there. Well, our special guest here at halftime today is Nigel Wood, who is the CFO of the RFL and also on the board for the 2017 Rugby League World Cup. And Nigel, welcome and thanks for joining us.
No, thank you very much. It's great to be here.
And a beautiful day here in Jacksonville with a great crowd turning out for this event. What do you like about the game so far?
Look, I think it's a really good contest. I thought the first 10 minutes or so that the American side looked very strong indeed. They looked bigger and kind of very powerful. I thought that there was a chance they could run away with it, but the Canadians have really dug in, and I think, you know, the second half of that first half they were the better side, and it's a really good contest. It's worthy of being what it is, which is a World Cup qualifier.
And so let's talk about, for the team that actually wins today, what sort of preparation they will go on to the 2017 Rugby League World Cup to be held in Australia, New Zealand and Papua New Guinea. But for the team that is successful and moves on and advances, what sort of support will they get in preparation leading up to this tournament?
Yeah, we've just been discussing that with the two chairmen, with Peter and Paul, about making sure that they have the right combination of fixtures that test them, that keep the teams together, and to make sure that they make the right progress so they can hit the ground running in 2017. So there's a bit of thinking to do on that, but I'm pretty sure that we'll have a very compelling programme, not just for the side that's victorious, but also for the losing side and Jamaica, to make sure that they play rugby league regularly over the next 24 months. It's important that the national sides get to play regular fixtures.
Yes, and so for the teams that don't qualify, again, Jamaica is already out, and a heartbreaking loss for them the other night, well, a tie that forced them out of their tournament. But what sort of support exists for the countries that don't advance? Because there's so much emphasis is put on making the World Cup, and yet there's over 30 countries playing rugby league, and more than half of them don't get to experience this.
Yeah, there's actually more than 30. There's more than 30 countries. The standards vary, as you're aware. And we are very clear that we need a proper regular programme, not just for the Englands and Australias and New Zealands of this world, but for everybody. So we're looking at nines as a concept, nines as a potential opportunity to play on an annual basis, but also the individual federations. So in Europe we've got a federation, in Asia Pacific there's a federation, and of course Middle East Africa's a federation in terms of Lebanon and South Africa, and in North Americas and the Americas we've got Jamaica, Canada and the United States, and we are looking to try and promote a regular international calendar, and there'll be some financial support to make that happen.
And so we know the powerhouses that exist in rugby league today, whether they exist in both the UK, Australia, New Zealand, but what do you consider to be the target areas for growth of rugby league internationally?
Well, we've just published, you're probably aware, we've just published a new international strategy. The RLIF has got a new chief executive, well, got its first ever chief executive in David Collier, and at the Congress last month we just approved the new strategic document, which will look at growing another 4 major markets, 2 of which have to be what we would call G20 countries. So nations such as Canada and USA are ideally placed to take advantage of the strategic plan that the International Federation has only just approved.
And so there's been so much discussion over TV rights with the NRL announcing that new large billion-dollar deal happening down there. And what sort of funds will exist for international development? Because so many of these fledgling countries even struggling to get off the ground. Everybody's putting their hand out as the Rugby League International Federation grows and advances. So will the pressure and demand for these funds?
That's absolutely right. At the moment, the International Federation just has one property, that's the World Cup, to generate funds. That's one of the things that the Federation is doing something about with its new strategy in creating a second global tournament every 4 years. So there will be a World Cup every 4 years and there'll be a second global tournament. It's important that both of those are financially strong so that we generate the revenues that are then available to help the emerging and fledgling nations. I think that, as you're aware, in 2013 we produced a surplus of $7 million,
yes,
all of which has been put to good use. There's a target In the 17 World Cup, we're producing a surplus of $10 million, and then the 21 World Cup, we want to do better again. It's interesting that in Rugby Union, it's probably only 7 cycles of World Cups since they first started their World Cups in 1987. They generated a profit of £1 million in 1987, and now 7 cycles later, it's a quarter of $1 billion. So the precedent is there. If we can put the regular calendar together, grow some new nations so there's more competition for the trophies, and get the right broadcasting deals, that the revenues available to support the USA, Canada and International Rugby League General should be a lot stronger than they are at the moment.
And so let's talk about the broadcasting deal. You know, in 2013, the USA team shocked the world, as they call it, where they were able to compete and make the quarterfinal tournament, but there was so little TV exposure in the USA. What can fans expect, whether it's Canada or USA, that actually advances to this, where they will hope to actually see these games being played on TV?
Yeah, well, David Collier is putting together an expert group from around the world of rugby league to make sure that these pictures are broadcast as wide and as far as possible. We've got, as you've said earlier on, we've got really strong leagues in Europe and a very strong league in the Southern Hemisphere, both of which have mature markets in terms of broadcasting and experienced individuals who have been doing broadcasting deals for a number of years. What we need to do is coordinate those efforts, because clearly the club game is still a very powerful offer, and we need to use the club game to put content into these new nations and then support them with international rugby league at the same time. So we're looking at, probably for the first time in the history of rugby league, a coordinated approach to the exposure of the sport around the globe.
Well, that's fantastic news for rugby league fans really around the world. And Mr. Wood, thanks very much for coming out of this tournament. It's an absolute pleasure to meet you and to interview at this. And it really seems that the future of rugby league is bright and promising worldwide.
That's very kind of you. It's a great pleasure to be here. We're seeing a great spectacle, and it's a full credit to everybody that's put it on.
Well, you've done well considering the fact that you've got Spinner Howland barking in the background, speaking over us. But yes, thanks very much for joining us, and enjoy the rest of the tournament.
Not a problem. He's one of rugby league's legends, so don't knock him too much.
He really is. He's an unsung hero in the USA, and we're fortunate to have him. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
100% volunteer-run organisation in sport. Everyone is doing this at the highest.
Well, there you go. Straight from the horse's mouth, as they say. Some encouraging, developments there. Good to know that the RLAF is looking at places like the US and Canada and some other countries as well. And they've obviously realised that there is a need to, help them develop, whether it's in terms of money, which everyone's always looking for, or whether just improving their skills and their ability to play the game.
And I think what most people don't realize is that the International Federation is an organization that is still coming together. And again, as Mr. Wood said, that the CEO is really the first CEO of its kind. And you can imagine by the time the 2021 World Cup comes around, just how different rugby league will be.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking forward to the next one in a couple of years. I think that's going to be an improvement. Look, I think every World Cup, no matter what sport it is, I think they get better and better usually, don't they? And I think we're seeing that in rugby league, as he was saying, in terms of, generating revenue every 4 years. And by the time we get to that one, I'm sure he's going to be making a lot more money, which in turn will be poured back into the countries that need it more.
So let's get back to the game now.
Yeah.
We've got a couple of minutes left in the break here, and let's talk about Canada's performance first up. Which one of the players in particular of Canada has impressed you? And as far as the tactics, what are they going to have to do in the second half to maintain this lead?
Well, I don't think they changed their tactics. I think they've obviously settled on what they feel is a winning strategy. You take it up in the forwards, and when you've got the ball. And they've been using their wingers, not as much, but it's getting to the outside centres from time to time. And I think Shoughton's played well. I think Jamie Kelly's played well. I've called him a couple of times. I think the Jacks brothers are playing well. And I think that also Christian Miller has been having a pretty good game too. And by the way, I want to correct myself. I said just before the half that it was 4 tries to 3. It's actually, I'm correcting myself, it's 3 tries apiece so far.
and she'll get your information.
And so the USA comes back on the field, and let's talk about their performance. It was an electrifying start for them, and they looked like they were going to run away with the game, and some costly penalties and turnovers, and Canada's back in the match. Who was the standouts, and what's going to be the tactics for the USA in the second half?
Oh, look, I don't think they panic. It's only 18-14. I think I think you stick to the same game plan because it was working for the most part. They had a couple of lapses here and there where the Canadians took advantage. But I think that, in terms of turnovers, the US has turned it over 3, maybe 4 times, Canada 5. Penalties 6-3 in favor of the Canadians. And look, I think both teams are playing to the game plan that they both devised for themselves, which are fairly similar. Let's be honest about that. They both have think they've got good forward packs, and they like to maintain the ball, maintain possession, control it in the forwards, and then try and force errors on the part of the opposition and capitalise on that.
Don't think I didn't notice.
Canada still yet to come out in the field, taking their time in the dressing room. How much is fitness going to come down to the last 40 minutes, and what difference will the extra few days break for the USA make, do you think?
Well, you would think, logically, that would benefit the U.S. having the whole week to recover from the game, whereas Canada's only been recovering since Tuesday night. But you know what? In games like this, on occasions like this, Steve, I think it also comes down to things like adrenaline. The sheer will to win, as I wrote during the week. I think the Canadians came here with a stated goal in mind, and that was to beat the USA. They felt the fact that they've beaten them 3 straight coming into this game makes them the favourite to win. So I don't think that fitness necessarily is going to be a crucial aspect of the final result. I think what's going to be dictating things is who makes the fewest mistakes.
Well, you could see with the USA in the last 20 minutes of that first half, their energy levels being quickly drained, and Canada having so much weight and possession and able to get on the board. That last try really just pure from fatigue.
Well, also I think, like I said, it was a heads-up play. They caught them napping. They saw an opportunity.
Game 3 of the Firehouse Subs Rugby League World Cup qualifiers. USA versus Canada are underway. Second half. That's Wamala working the ball up on the 30-yard line. USA will want to get a good start if they're going to come back. Yeah. Great tackle from Purnell. That was a hard hit. Solid in defense.
Canadians are going to want to complete this set.
Wamawa again. He's been busy already. There's Jax. There's your boy, the sheriff.
Yep. I am impressed with that guy.
Well, he's hurt in that play.
A bit shaken up there.
Deep kick. Burrows at fullback. Easily taken. What can you do with it? Getting that ball out. There's Howden. Not much happening. Burrows again. He wants more of it. Looking to take the pressure off the forwards. Trying to break through on the 30-yard line.
Ducked under
Second
a high
tackle.
shot. Ducked under a high shot there.
Kelly looks like he's in all sorts of trouble there. His legs kicking up and down. The referee might stop this play. He is not well. In terrible pain, he looks like.
Yeah, I didn't see what happened. It looked like a normal tackle. It didn't look like there was anything.
There really didn't appear to be anything in the tackle.
No.
But he is in all sorts of strife, and if he's gone, this will be a big loss for Canada.
Yeah, he's been one of their impact players. He was the other night too when he came off the bench against Jamaica. They obviously thought he had done enough to put him in the starting side for today's game, and he's played well up until this point. But like we said, it looked from here anyway that it was a pretty stock standard kind of tackle.
And the USA will restart possession on their 30-yard line, but you don't like to see anybody hurt like this.
No, and Firehouse Subs have over 900 restaurants across the USA, Canada, the Caribbean, and Mexico. As the official title sponsor for the Rugby League World Cup qualifiers, we want to thank them for bringing this event to the United States. And you can visit them at firehousesubs.com. I actually went into a Firehouse Subs restaurant the other day, Steve, and there it was, all the Rugby League paraphernalia around the place, and they're all talking it up, so good to see.
And he looks okay. He's getting up now. He looks like he might have been winded in that play, but tough as nails, and he really is some unit, this guy.
Oh yeah, look. No quitting that guy. There's no quitting any of these guys. They don't want to. They don't want to come off. This is for all the marbles.
USA back in the attack with Steve Howard. Oh, great run there.
How about one more button, stud?
Holding down on the tackle.
There you go.
Referee not having anything to do with it.
What they want.
There's Sam Carson getting that ball out. Howard.
Chachi. We're back in business here on the field. And an errant offload.
And that's a costly turnover. And again, the USA uncharacteristic mistake. Coach McDermott will not be happy with that.
Not a good thing.
No, especially where it happened. I mean, inside when it was on their 40-yard line.
Simple game plan was required. Keep that ball steady and good kick and chase. Wamawa driving run. Canada back on the attack, 25 yards out.
Yeah, the USA wants to hold firm here because if they let him score again, it makes life very difficult for the Hawks, doesn't it?
On the right side, there's Kelly. He looks okay now. Canada, watch them push the ball to the left. There's Howden, great take, looking to break free. He's through one. Not much going for the second.
Nice run back that time.
Second tackle for the US. Walsh at dummy half. This is Burrows. Nothing happening. Freed. Ali, try scorer, first one to score for the US. 20 yards out from the half. That's Offerdale through a gap, hanging on to it.
He's always dangerous with the ball.
There's a second ball on the play. The referee is coming in. Doesn't like something in the play there.
Yeah, look, the touch judge is talking about something.
Not sure what the call's going to be.
No, I think it's going against the US, though.
No,
Yeah.
it's going
No,
with
it's
the
going
US.
for the US.
Difficult to know what the call was. That's Walsh kicking for extra field position, and the USA is on the attack in Canada's half. 5 yards in, fresh set of 6 tackles, and they're going to need this. Offerdale again. Back-to-back runs. John Purnell. He's been busy today, coming off the bench, working hard. Luke Barron normally plays in the centers, playing second row. Didn't play in the first game against Jamaica. Walsh, dummy half.
They've bottled up Walsh pretty well today, the Wolverines, I think. He hasn't had much room.
Down the left side, Steve Howard. 5th and last tackle, 10 yards out. What can they do with it? Down the blind side. Walsh again, that ball going up. Ball still alive. Henson, Howard, still going. Offerdale, pushing it wide to Ali. Can he score here? That ball's over, that's Howard in the corner. And he scores, Taylor Howden in the corner for the USA. Beautiful score, end-to-end stuff, pushing the ball side to side, and that's what the USA needed, and they are back to 18 all with the kick to come.
Oh, you know, as that was unfolding, you just knew.
You
just knew it was going to be something special in the corner.
Champagne stuff.
Yeah, no, that's what Mick Vivas would have said about that for sure, because that went from one side of the field to the other. I think every player in the U.S. team touched the ball on that series of passes.
That was a magnificent game, and I'm curious why you keep bringing Mick Vivas up. That's your second time. But
well, he's the one who coined the phrase champagne football.
All righty. 18 all, 5 minutes gone in the second half, and the try scorer, Taylor Howden, will get his chance to kick the ball, and the US are scoring the right side, and that's the difficult side to kick on. Let's see if they can be successful with this conversion.
He hasn't had any easy kicks so far, really. They've all been from the pretty much the touchline.
And we have a game of football on our hands, so much at stake for both of these countries. You had the feeling this one was going to go down to the wire.
Yeah, and as we said earlier, because it's the second game for both teams, they're playing a lot better than they did in their first games, as we saw with Jamaica on Tuesday night.
Plenty of pressure with this kick. Oh, and he shanked it.
He sure did.
To the right. That's an ugly kick, and he'll be disappointed with that.
That's like one of my golf shots. Oh, terrible. The official medical partner for the Firehouse Subs Rugby League World Cup qualifiers is Southeast Orthopaedic Specialists. Southeast Ortho have provided services to the Jacksonville Axemen and other local teams for more than 10 years. Visit them at se-ortho.com.
Canada kicked the ball. USA will get the ball back, unlike American football where it's flipped the other way and the team that scores. The USA will get the ball and be back on the attack. Plenty of pressure. 18 points all. Steve Howard. He's been so busy today. His work rate's so high. Roman Lowry coming in off the wing, taking pressure off the forwards.
I was wondering too, Steve, when was the last time when we saw an international game where there were sets of brothers on each team?
I couldn't even remember.
No, I don't. Yeah, I'm sure it's happened.
Great article on USARL.com about the Howard brothers playing for the Wentworth Magpies in Australia. Born in the USA, and Canada unlucky, I think, in that tackle. Howard almost losing the ball, but the referee said there was too much activity and not allowing him to break free. And I think the USA was a bit lucky on this one.
I think that was a borderline call. Could have gone either way, went the US ways this time.
And again, US having most of the possession in the first half. Back on the attack. John Purnell taking the ball up.
Definitely a crowd favourite, isn't he?
Local Axeman player. Offerdale again. Leading by example. Free, dummy half. 20 yards out. This is Barron.
Been at everything, Howard. That would be Steve Howard. They're close again. They're threatening.
They're on the attack. The USA out to the left. That ball popped up. Still alive.
Yeah, it's good defense by Canada.
Danny Howard out to the left.
New set of 6 tackles.
Nothing happening.
Is a good thing for the USA. Bad thing if you're in red today.
He was on the attack. Driving tackle over the line. Looks like he's held up.
He was trying to match his brother from the first half, wasn't he? Steve Howard, trying to score, but they held him up that time. Conversely, his brother was able to roll over and dot it down.
And that will bring the ball back to the 10-yard line. USA gets another shot at it.
And they'll play on.
Danny, his brother. Fourth tackle, it looks like. Free, dummy half. There's Walsh. Out to Purnell. Henson, ball still alive with Ali. Cutting back in. Fourth tackle, sorry. Offerdale. Bumping run.
Yeah, it was a don't argue from Big Mark.
Referee signals fifth and last tackle.
That's number 9 and Captain Mark.
What can the US do? They'll want to score here. And they're caught short.
Yeah, Canadian defence up to the task that time. That was Christian Miller, the ex-CFL player, made well, you'd have to say it. If it wasn't a try saver, it was pretty close to it.
The USA will want to keep Canada pinned down in their half. That's Kelly. Adam Timler there for Canada. This is great defense from the US, keeping Canada pinned down. 10 minutes gone in the second half. Scores 18-all.
You know, something else we haven't mentioned, Steve, on top of everything else, there's North American bragging rights going with this game.
More than North American bragging rights. So much on the line, and that's Jacks through the gap there, pushing that ball. Canada on the attack out wide, keeping that ball alive. Oh, these referees let that go.
Ref. Come on.
That's a forward pass. Jacks again. Oh, Canada, so much gun. That's Roman Lowry. They wanted to settle things down.
Yeah, and Aaron Parks.
Referee saying down. 6 more tackles. Canada on the attack. These players have put everything on the field.
That was an exciting passage.
This is going to go down to fitness. This will go down to the wire. Piatek, Jacks, throwing it out wide. Oh, and that ball. And instead of doing a bullet-like pass, he lobbed it over, and they weren't able to take it. And the winger not in position, and the USA, they got out of jail.
Yeah, that one intended for Steve Bouchard out wide, and the ball just didn't bounce his way. But you could see the intention there. I mean, Canada, for the last 5-6 minutes or so, had all the play, haven't they, for the most part? And look where they are. They got themselves right down inside the American quarter, the red zone, as they say in NFL.
Both teams with hands on hips, still 30 minutes left in the half. Fitness, everything at this point. These players are throwing everything on the field. They'll have the rest of their lives to think about this game.
And a special thank you to the law offices of John Phillips for bringing us the Jacksonville Axe Maidens performance for personal injury, criminal defense, and family law. Find them at floridajustice.com. And I did enjoy the, where you were interviewing Nigel Wood, I was enjoying the Axe Maidens.
Yes, sorry I couldn't pay attention to that. I was sort of focused on bigger matters like International Rugby League. But, the Axe Maidens are definitely a fan favourite with the local Jacksonville Axemen, and the Jacksonville Axemen really one of the success clubs of rugby league in this country. They lead the way in terms of fan following, how they branded themselves, and quite honestly, they're probably one of the strongest brands in international football outside of the major countries like Australia, New Zealand, and the UK.
Yeah. And sadly for them, they didn't get to the big dance in terms of the USARL Championship this year. They were knocked out by their rivals down here in the South Conference.
And again, the South Conference in the USARL, for those that aren't familiar with the USA Rugby League, the competition running from May through September each year, and 14 teams that play up and down the East Coast from Boston through to Florida. And this year's winners being the Boston 13s, who had a sensational run.
They did.
Shocking the Philadelphia Fight, the previous champions, in the Northern Conference final, and then going on to beat the Atlanta Rhinos, who also had a great run in the finals there.
They did, and they've got one of their guys here in Newland today, right?
Nick Newland playing in the front row for the USA team from the Atlanta Rhinos. That's Burrows. Both teams having a rest, much needed rest. USA on the attack. That's the try scorer, Howden.
We will remind everybody when it is time.
Freed at dummy half, slow play the ball.
Of course, understand responsible vending, and of course,
Taylor Alley.
we are on a university campus. That beer sales will end 10 minutes before full time today.
Offerdale. He's been in everything today. Keeping that ball alive through Walsh. Oh, crunched in that tackle. He'll be feeling that later today. That hurt him.
18 all, Steve. This one definitely evenly balanced, and it's going to take a mistake, isn't it?
Beautiful little kick from the USA there. Christian Freed pushing that ball down.
That was a nice kick. Well judged.
And looks like a 40-20 he's going to give there, is it? And he has signaled that as a 40-20, and the USA inside the 40-yard line, pushing the ball back in the attack. And they are now in a terrific attacking opportunity. Matt Walsh still feeling the effects of that tackle.
Yeah, for those viewing who aren't familiar with the 40-20, perhaps, it's when you have the ball and you kick it within your 40 meters, and it bounces out within the 20 meters of the opposition. In other words, that's a darn good kick.
US packing down in the scrum. Little bit of a disconnect there in terms of who's taking the ball out. Burrows looking for action on the attack. Looking to push that ball straight up. 5 yards out. US on the attack. What can they do with it? That's Alley. Looking to settle things down. Freed. Going to the right. Walsh. That's Alley. What can he do? Looks like he's over. The USA's going to go score. Referee's looking to his team. And he blows the whistle there. The US scoring in the corner. Again on the right side. And that was on the back of a great 40-20 by Christian Freed. 3 plays later, Taylor Alley again doing the damage on the right-hand side. And this game is swinging back and forth. USA up 15 minutes into the first half, leading by a score of 22 points to 18 with the kick to come.
Earlier when Canada scored one of their tries, we said it was sheer will. I think you put that one down to sheer will from Taylor Alley.
He did great in that play. He really got involved. There wasn't much going on, but he found the gap and he was able to bulldoze his way over the line.
There was just nothing going there.
There was absolutely nothing on.
No.
You'd get the feeling he was going to pop the ball out and pass it on to the winger, but to Howden. But credit to Ali, he backed himself, and the USA. This is exciting stuff. Kick to come. Let's hope it's a better one than the last effort.
Almost from exactly the same spot.
That's really been the difference today, has been the kicking game. Canada's been great with the boot, and the USA, it's let them down.
Oh, the same result.
Exact same position, and I think he was aiming for the injured winger. That's
I think
Reece Jacks there in the down for the Canada team. Oh, he's in all sorts of trouble.
Number 4, don't turn your back on us.
If Jacks goes off, this will be a big loss. He's limping back. He seems to be okay.
Yeah, I think he was underneath that tackle trying to hold him up.
He'll stay on, but
yeah, he's got a limp. He's gone a little gimpy, hasn't he?
The proud sporting nation of Canada set to kick off.
and the USA with the weight of possession in the second half. Matt Walsh taking that ball back, and that looks like Nick Newland's back on. Burrows looking for action out of dummy half, running in. That big right foot step of his. Wait till he gets an open space. Offerdale. He's straight through the gap. No support. He's going on his own.
Nice
USA
run by
on
the
the
captain.
attack.
Nice run by the captain.
There's Walsh. USA can smell blood. That's Danny Howard. He's through. On the right-hand side, keeping the ball, touched by Canada. Referee signal, 6 to go. That's Andrew Neasley. Canada on its knees. That's Walsh. Big step.
Not only does that not make it a forward pass, because the Canadian batted it forward, it reset the tackle count.
On the right, that's Burrows. Nothing happening.
And Jacks is still limping around. He was hurting that tackle, Steve.
Freed again. Good hands by Howard.
Oh, good defense by Canadians. Pushed him back to the 10-yard line.
Canada hanging on. Walsh. Ali again, the try scorer. Losing that ball.
Took his eyes off the pill.
Canada breathes a sigh of relief.
Out of jail. I mean, you thought for all money the U.S. was going to make him pay that time.
These players hanging on for dear life. Jacks is in all sorts of trouble.
Yeah, a couple of Canadians down on their haunches. They are feeling it.
I'm not sure if I get away from him. I have heard
That's the number 3, John Craig, for Canada as well.
You wonder how long Jacks can stay.
He'll stay out for the whole game if he can. He's not going to come off. Again, there's no tomorrow for these two teams. One team will advance to the 2017 Rugby League World Cup. That's Shoughton. He needs to get more involved. Jacks, dummy half.
Thank you to 1010XL. Thank you to
Piatek.
all the people there.
He's done well today.
He's a gamer, Piatek.
Great Colonial Cup series. One of the best players for Canada. Canada on the 30-yard line. Great defense. Christian Freed in everything. Definitely been one of USA's, and that's Jacks going himself.
Geez.
5th and last tackle.
That's a miraculous recovery.
Kick to come. He's gone up, put a towering kick up there, swirling wind, and that's Burrows able to take it beautifully, and away he's gone. And the US on the attack, and that's Burrows moving that ball down, keeping it inside, and the flying Ryan Burrows, 10 yards in.
Nice
Nick
run
Newland
there
hanging on to it.
Nice run by Burrows. Found some open space and he was away.
He can find a gap through a pinhole, this guy. Neasley, Chunk as they call him, plays for the fight. 30 yards out, USA on the attack. Everything on the line for this team. Purnell. Freed.
Look, Steve, we're moving into the final quarter. It's going to come down to who wants this more.
Offerdale. Ball still alive. Freed.
Oh,
So close.
Nice tackling there by, was shouting that time, put him to ground.
Out wide. Danny Howard's oh! And he scores! And the USA is on the board again, leading 26 points to 18. 21 minutes left in the second half. Danny Howard on the left-hand side, so familiar, stepped off the left foot, back on the inside, scoring over, and the USA renewed energy, and Canada, hands on hips, they are struggling. USA has had so much possession in the second half. Canada really struggling here.
That's Howard's second try of the day, third of the series, and that was just, again, heads-up play. They just kept going forward and sticking to the game plan. Short passing, hit it up in the forwards, make Canada tackle, tire them out. That's what's happening.
And speaking of changing the game plan, the USA is having a different kicker, Christian Freed, who was decent with the boot in game one. That's no slight on Taylor Howden, but he hasn't had a great day with the kicking.
Well, I think Howden needs to change his club head, really, because he was shanking him.
Still plenty of football left.
Oh.
And this has been the difference.
You know, the other night they were so good with their goal kicking, weren't they, the US? And tonight or today it's like totally different team in that regard. Still only 8 points in it, 1 quarter of football to go, and it's all or nothing.
And this is everything for both teams. So much work, so much preparation. These players, months of training, fitness level. This comes down to pure will in the last 20 minutes.
Yeah, and they're both going to play themselves to a standstill. You can see that.
That breeze picking up. The sun's starting to creep into the ground. That's Piatek. Safely taken by Lowry. He's been safe today, other than that one try that he bobbled in the corner, but it wasn't a great pass. There's Burrows again, really set up that last try. Beautiful blistering run down the right-hand side. Freed again.
Always dangerous, Freed. You never know if he's going to take a dart or make a quick pass.
Oh, he's hurting that play. Copped a heavy knock. He's struggling to get up to this.
I think he copped one around the throat.
There's Offerdale pushing, moving that ball. Captain's run. Rich Henson moves in a dummy half roll. Matt Walsh, good little kick. USA. And that's not the kick and chase that they were looking for, and the Canada back on the attack.
Now that's Legault, that's what I'm saying. He needs to do much more of that. He's been so quiet up until today.
That's Craig for Canada. What can Canada do? They have to be the ones that score next. Robinson. And we haven't called these players' names in a while. It simply just shows you how much weight and possession that USA has had. Dempsey as well. Canada needs to have a good set and a great kick. That's Jax. That big left foot step of his. Fifth and last tackle. Jax on the attack. Little chip and chase. Knocked back, referee. I thought they knocked it on. The USA gets lucky there.
Yeah, I thought he did too.
That's Burrows. Lowry again, taking the pressure off the forwards.
Okay.
Freed, Offerdale. He's been so solid in both games. He's been an incredible player for the US, led by example, off and on the field. 17 minutes left. USA leading 26 points to 18. I'm Steve Williams, with me Brian Lowe from rugbyleagueplanet.com. John Craig moving the ball up.
US defense equal to the task again that time.
Canada walking back on side. They are dead tired. Oh, ugly pass, and that is not the play Canada was looking for. USA will get the ball back.
Well, that's Howden. Howden put that hit on the Canadian ball carrier, forced the error there.
The pass was not on, though. He did need to push that ball out, but that just goes to show you that Canada are tired and they're looking for those breaks,
Yeah.
and they're not coming their way.
Right, and we need to thank the Sheraton Jacksonville Hotel and the Holiday Inn Express at Jacksonville Beach for hosting the national teams of the USA, Jamaica, and Canada. Yeah, look, it's still more than 16 minutes to go, Steve. No need to panic yet, only 8 points in it, but you get the feeling from Canada that they're starting to think about what's going on here. They're starting to think about, well, we're running out of time.
And there's Burrows through the gap, and I told you when this kid gets open space, and the USA is going to go score, and that's the flying Ryan Burrows out of the scrum. Absolutely nothing on. And there he goes. He's a sensational player, this kid. The first year of rugby league. He's an incredible athlete. And the USA putting Canada to the sword. Ryan Burrows from the scrum win. The USA out to the side, and Canada on its knees.
That was a case again of heads up. America saw that there was a gap out there and a huge gaping hole in the Canadian D.
I couldn't have got through it.
I was going to say, even you and I could have run through that one.
I don't think so.
Mightn't have made it to the try line.
But that was all Burrows.
Yeah, that was a nice heads up play. That's the second big run he's had. This one ends up in a 4-pointer.
And you couldn't get a nicer guy, Brian Burrows. An absolute hell of an athlete that trains the house down. A quiet, unspoken guy, but leads by example on the field. And the chance for the USA start up in the crowd.
Yeah, and the Canadians must be wondering now, what the heck do we have to do to get things turned around? I mean, their sets have been good. They've been completing sets. The defense, for the most part, has been good. Not a lot of holes, except here and there where the Americans have exploited them.
And this is an incredibly important kick for the USA, because if he is successful, it will become a 3-score game. And again, Canada has to win. A tie is not good enough. It's got good height, and he's pushed it wide, and we are still at a 2-score game.
And that was a third goal kicker. That was Matt Walsh that time, I think, having a shot.
I think Coach McDermott will be the next one to take over the goal-kicking duties.
Might call you or I come down there to have a shot.
Well, the weight of possession with the USA in this second half. Canada really struggling, and the USA will get the ball back. 15 minutes left. Oh, that's a great kick by Canada, able to regain possession. Sam Carson jumping in the air, but not able to get it back. Canada not done.
No, you wouldn't expect they would be.
Dempsey. Jacks. That's Robinson keeping the ball going. 10 yards out. What can they do? So much on the line. Dempsey. Watch Jacks from dummy half. Again, wrap around. Here they go out wide. Nothing happening. Back on the inside. Can they keep them out? USA holding them up. Watch him from dummy half. He's so dangerous. Bulldozing run. He's got over. Referee's going to call it. And that is Canada back on the board. And we have got an exciting finish on our hands here. Nail-biting stuff. Hang on to your hats. This is going to be a great finish. 13 minutes left.
Oh, yeah.
These players playing for everything.
Never say die. Never say die. It was good. Again, a matter of sheer will. They just kept punching the ball up. They wanted to get across, and they did. And that was Riley Jacks who scored that.
Simple kick will bring, if he's successful, and he should be, it will bring and close the gap to 6 points. Canada will get the ball back, and we have a football game on our hands.
Jacks obviously recovered from that ankle injury that he got earlier.
Piatek, he doesn't miss.
No, he doesn't. He's the money man.
The difference between these two teams has been the kicking.
Flags go up.
USA in no rush to get back on side.
Gee, you know, just when you think one team or the other's got the nose in front, they do, but the other one fights right back.
For Canada, this is everything. The next set, they are going to have to move that ball down and score.
Players and volunteers from the Jacksonville Axemen and the Central Florida Warriors played a big part in event operations. You can find all rugby league teams in the USA by visiting usarl.com.
Oh, that's a costly error from the USA from the kickoff. That wind pushing that ball over to the right, and that Canada will get the penalty on the halfway line. And what a costly error. Christian Freed has done everything right today, but that kick, that's going to hurt the US. Canada, how quickly this game can turn.
Yeah, just trying a bit too hard for a little extra distance that time.
This is hearts in your mouth stuff.
Now let's put the US right on the back foot.
Fitness levels so much at this point. That's Shoughton looking to break through. 15 yards out, fighting and everything. Canada on the attack. Robinson.
Been in everything this half.
Jacks again, spinning that ball out wide. That's great defense. Shutting down the attack. Watch him from dummy half. He's so dangerous.
Oh, was he
And it
held
looks
up?
like he's held up.
I think he was held up.
Referee's calling held up, and the USA getting out of jail on that play. And hearts in your mouth stuff.
I think that was Kelly, was it?
Canada will get the ball back at the 10-yard line.
No.
A couple more sets.
No, it's Alex Boyd who's on.
Jacks, nothing happening. That's a solid hit. He seems to have recovered from that ankle injury.
Sure has.
Here he is at dummy half. Puts in the little chip. Roman Lowry taking it in the end goal. And that ball was taken. And the USA will get it back on the 20-yard line.
Yes, the referee has signalled that USA Hawks will bring that out to their own 20. Right at midfield,
Christian Freed.
Well, the USA survived that one.
Steve Howard. 9.5 minutes left. Score 30 points to 26. One score game. Second tackle. Freed down the right. That's better from Howard. Bullocking run. Freed again. Carson. There's Walsh. Offerdale. Looking to hang on to it.
He's always looking to offload in the tackle, isn't he?
Fifth and last tackle. It's a towering kick. Awkward bounce. Canada there being driven back into the corner. That's great work by Howden. They're going to want to pin them down here. Everything on the line. 9 minutes left. USA leading by 6 points. Timler. Kelly recovered from that big hit earlier.
US needs to keep its shape in defense.
Keep pushing to the right. These players have left everything on. This has been an incredible game.
It's been back and forth a lot, hasn't it?
You're watching the third game of the Firehouse Subs Rugby League World Cup qualifiers. Oh, he's kicked it, broken through. That's Jacks. And Rich Henson dives on the ball, and the USA, what was an opportunity. And Jacks, he looks like he's hurt in that play.
Yeah, he's down again.
And get in and grab your last beverage. If you were not in line, probably in the next 30 seconds, that will have been your last beer for the day. At least here.
City and venue partners from the University of North Florida, the city of Jacksonville and the city of DeLand have made these games possible right here in Florida. And we want to thank them for their support in growing rugby league in the United States. Geez, that was a nice run there by Jacks, wasn't it? He just erred in deciding at the last minute which way he was going to pass, and that's why the pass went wild.
He didn't quite have the support that he was looking for either.
No, but again, he's starting to find holes in the defensive lines of the US, as he did against Jamaica, and it was about this time too in the fourth quarter when he started to do that.
Absolutely instrumental in their sponsorship of this event, bringing it to Jacksonville and DeLand. You, of course, can find your local Firehouse.
And the USA will get the ball back. Rich Henson diving on that ball inside their own half. 8 minutes left on the clock. USA leading by a score of 30 points to 24. That's Lowry.
Dr. Shirley is here, as mentioned earlier.
Free to dummy half. He's been in everything today. Steve Howard.
A few days ago. You can find them at se-auto.com.
Freed again. Matty Walsh. Danny Howard. Walsh, little kick. Pushing in the corner. Keeping Canada pinned down.
Again, good attacking
And that's a
kick
great
from
kick and
USA.
chase by the US.
Also great receiving of that kick by the Wolverines. No problem in the regather.
Canada struggling to get out of their own half.
Their own 10-metre line.
The US pinning them down. That's the Sheriff Kelly.
Everyone can see the evenly matched opponents here.
Time now becoming an enemy of the Canadians.
Series.
But we saw what happened the other night when they were in a similar position.
Jamaica here at Hodges
Ball
Bay.
through, half a gap.
14, only a 6
US closes it down.
converted
7 minutes left on the clock.
The game down in DeLand, Florida, ending in an
Jack spinning that ball out wide. That's a great tackle by Walsh, closing down the play. 5th tackle. The one are going to get a
So the three teams competing in the Americas
good kick in. They're pushing that out to the right. Little chip and chase.
Rugby League for the fans.
Offerdale there. He could see it coming, and then it's all from off down the side.
That's Mark Offerdale.
Slowing things down, keeping the ball in play.
Regathered that
US on the attack.
foot pedal to the metal, pinned his ears back.
World Cup 2017 Rugby League World Cup at stake. Only one of these teams will advance.
USA Hawks now on their 35, looking to
Freed,
about 14
Howden.
remaining in the set.
The referee says knock on.
For those of you that are experiencing rugby league for the first time, I hope
Canada
you
get the
all
ball
see
back.
similarities in this code of
Packing down
rugby,
the scrum.
first
Referee will
16
call
codes
time.
of rugby.
6 minutes left
Do you think fatigue might be starting to set in here?
on both teams.
Oh yeah, you can see that.
Offerdale's hurt.
He snaps the ball with his foot. We go into either a quarterback sneak or a wildcat, and it happens in hurry-up offense. The difference, of course, is that you play both offense and defense as a player. Rugby league is played under the USA Rugby League national governing body from Boston all the way in the north down to Tampa in the south. There are 14 teams at the elite level of the USA.
Somebody
Rugby
looks
League.
hurt in that.
Yeah, referee calling on the trainer.
Is your local Jacksonville Axemen that have
I think it's
recently
Offerdale
celebrated
needs some
their 10-year
treatment.
anniversary. And we'll put a special mention out. I am up here in the booth with
You
the
may have copped a bit of a knock when he fielded that chip kick from Jacks and ran it back and was tackled fairly heavily.
And this will definitely be in favour of Canada here, slowing things down, having a break. They'll be fresh in the attack, or as fresh as they can be.
You see Coach McDermott starting to pace up and down. He got up and had a bit of a wander around, sat back down again, is fidgeting. I think he's getting a little nervous.
That's shouting with the ball. He looks dangerous every time he takes it.
The closest one to us is Volusia County Rugby Foundation. That is
Everything at
operated
stake
by
here. 6 minutes left.
They had over 50 kids as young as 6 years old this season participate in their
Canada on the attack. Kelly hanging on.
I do know that Atlanta Rhinos up in the city of Atlanta also have a relatively strong youth rugby operation. We're hoping to get one here soon in Jacksonville.
That's Robinson.
Keep your eye out at everything at the Jacksonville.
Jack's looking to break through.
And again, all of that can be found at usarl.com.
Canada, 5th and last tackle. World Cup's hopes on the line. Little chip. The ball's up. Burrow's taking it. He's knocked it on.
Oh.
Canada's got that ball back.
6 to go.
6 more tackles.
Canada knocking on the door.
Canada, the World Cup hopes on the line here. 5 minutes left. Pushing the ball out. USA closing them down. Out to the right. And then that shout, and he's coughed that ball, and he's lost it.
I don't know that he did. I thought maybe an American hand got in there, but no.
No, the referee has
Referee
called
says
it.
no.
And a get out of jail card for the USA. Less than 5 minutes left. Scrum to pack down.
Wow.
USA will get the feed.
Steve, was heart in your mouth stuff right there.
This has been exciting game of rugby league.
Well,
Everything being left on the field today. One of these two teams will advance. for the other one. Absolute heartbreak.
We knew it was going to be an evenly contested match. We knew it was going to be an arm wrestle. We knew that they were going to give everything they've got. We haven't been let down.
And there's Burrows again. Taylor Raleigh. He's been good today. Howden.
It's a lot of one-out stuff here from the U.S.
And again, breaking free, looking to hang on.
That's number 23.
Freed.
Howden.
Offerdale looks okay now. Fourth tackle.
Oh, he's lost it.
Oh,
Lost it in the
USA.
tackle.
Great field position now lost. Canada on the attack. 4 minutes left.
6 men.
Fitness, everything at this point.
So, with
All players are struggling,
left to play,
holding on for dear life. So much on the line.
You can see the U.S. here is trying to wind down the clock. They're trying to just get going one out, taking the tackle, taking as far as they can in the hopes of when they get into the Canadian half, which they did, they would turn him around with a kick and chase. On that occasion, unfortunately for Offerdale, he coughed it up in the tackle.
Canada out wide. Piatek. Sorry, Greg. Out to the right. Nothing happening. USA hanging on. Trying to keep Canada out. They're popping that ball. Something on the right. Room to move. He's lost that ball forward.
Oh,
And the referee calls a knock on, and the USA will get the feed of the scrum. Canada packing down, trying to stop the clock. 3.5 minutes left. USA leading by a score of 30 points to 24.
Danny Howe at that time stopped the play. It was 3-on-1. He managed to not only tackle the player coming at him, they managed to force the ball free. And Canada had a two-man overlap that time. Weren't able to cash in.
That's out to Burrows again. He'll look to boo the ball wide. And there he goes with that blistering speed, but kept down. Staying inside the field of play. That's Taylor Raleigh, second tackle. Freed to John Purnell. Crunching tackle by Canada.
Tom Dempsey.
Sam Carson moving the ball up. USA in Canada's half. 3 minutes on the clock. Everything on the line. Steve Howard.
right now the USA is playing a very conservative game plan.
Fifth and last tackle.
They're not thinking pass, they're thinking just run it.
Is Walsh. Beautiful little chip kick.
Keep the clock ticking over.
Oh, Timler got away.
He does. He's broken free. But USA equal to the challenge.
Nice run there by the Canadian winger. Just didn't have anyone in support when he
USA
needed them.
back on side. Canada hands on hips. And that's Offerdale. Driving tackle. Pushing them back on the 20-yard line. Miller. Jacks again through half a gap.
Nice tackle by Christian Freed.
Jacks again. Wamawa. He's a beast. Fifth tackle. 2 minutes left on the clock. And he's been tackled. He throws a wayward pass, and that's the USA that dives on it. Howden, who is that, Carson?
I think it might be, is it Neasley?
No,
No.
that's not Chunk. That looks like Sam Carson. Plays for the North Devils in Brisbane in the Queensland Cup competition. Or signed recently. Just over a minute and a half.
Talk about being in the right place at the right time. He was, because he was already on the ground from having tried to make a tackle in that series of passes there.
USA, fresh set of 6 tackles. Offerdale looking to settle things down. Canada will want to get the ball back. They may have one more crack at it. Freed. Howden. Purnell. Freed again. Stevie Howard. He's done well today.
He has. He's been one of the best.
Down the left, Walsh. It's through the gap. That's Danny Howard. Goes himself.
Once again, going for the line. More to try earlier on.
Referee calls it. And that's the USA in the score. And that's it. The USA scores in the corner. Danny Howard down the left-hand side. And that's the game. The USA scoring in the corner. And do you believe in magic? Yes, I do. USA up with an insurmountable lead over Canada. And the USA team will go on to the 2017 Rugby League World Cup. Rugby League has finally taken flight in this country and can spread its wings. Congratulations to the USA team. What a fantastic effort by these players.
That was Danny Howard's third try. It's his hat trick, and I thought he was going to be stopped short, but momentum got him over the line. He got it down, and you're right. They're going to win this game, but they have won this game, and they're going to make a repeat performance, a repeat appearance, rather, at the Rugby League World Cup.
Canada, commiserations to the team that's over there. Paul O'Keefe, Paul Buchanan, Jamie Lester, Aaron Zimmermal. You couldn't get a greater bunch of people who are running the game in North America and Canada right now. The game is in great hands. It will continue to advance. Terrific administration, but congratulations to the USA Rugby League. Peter Eelfield, chairman of the USA Rugby League, congratulations to you. To the NGB board, congratulations to Daryl Spinnerhallen, Matt Bailey, Rich Lutherman, Danny Hansen, the team manager, great job. And special thanks to Brian McDermott, who has come over and led by example. And the USA wins the 2015 Firehouse Subs Rugby League World Cup qualifiers. Can you believe this?
I can believe it, because we said at the outset that we thought they would get home field advantage, longer preparation time because they had the week off between games. And you know what they've also done? They've also snapped their 3-game losing streak against these Wolverines, and they'll be happy about that.
What a fantastic performance by the USA. They were struggling in the back end of that first half. Canada seemed to be up and really in charge, but the US came out guns blazing in the second half and really dominated and controlled the entire game.
They did. There were patches where Canada looked good, and you have to say there's no quit in the Canadian team, as you would expect. They gave it their all. Just some lapses here and there, particularly defensively, where the Americans were able to exploit some holes and made them pay.
And we must say thanks to Firehouse Subs, who's been the sponsor of this event, and they've really done a great job with this. Again, Coach Brian McDermott, his leadership, his coaching style, the way he's brought this team together. He brought in a bunch of heritage players. He brought in players that are so new to the game of rugby league. His task, he's used to working with so many professionals at the highest level, and he's brought a team together and created something special, the magic that exists in this team. Mate, I'm lost for words.
Well, look, it's been a credible performance by the USA Hawks. We saw them not so good against Jamaica. They managed to get away with a win today. They were just fantastic. I mean, they stuck to the game plan. They hit it up. They kicked the ball when they needed to. They moved the ball, created opportunities when they saw them, and it paid dividends for them. Canada, on the other hand, try as they might, they couldn't match it. Although they were ahead at halftime, you got the feeling that the U.S. was not going to be denied today.
And congratulations to the USA Hawks, who have won this game. It's been a terrific performance to all the clubs who have participated in the USARL competition, to the players who were on the 35-man squad who trained and committed to this. Hats off to you. But the USA is going to the 2017 Rugby League World Cup.
And Steve, I guess it means a trip back home for you and me, huh?
Yes, it does. Sean Rutkinson as well, who's come out. It's been an incredible performance. I'd also like to say thanks to Joe Talentino and his crew out here from I Know Jacks. Joe has done a terrific job bringing this game with the video production. We're so fortunate here to have a quality person like this, to be able to support this.
You know, Steve, there is no official man of the match or MVP award, but I think, for my mind, you give it to Danny Howard.
Danny Howard, Christian Freed, Mark Offerdale. They're my three. And I've got to tell you, another person who's done well today is Ryan Burrows.
Oh, he had an outstanding game.
Taylor Alley, where do you start?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think you say anybody had a bad game on the USA team.
If you'd like to follow more and see the game summary, you can read Brian's reports on rugbyleagueplanet.com. And please make sure you visit usarl.com to follow the local competition in the USA.
Well, I was sorry to interrupt you. I was going to say it's a fitting end to what's been a good season here in the United States. Commiserations to Canada. They tried hard, weren't able to get it done today. The Americans, in front of the home crowd here in Jacksonville, which, as you said, is rapidly becoming one of the, if not the, centerpiece for rugby league in this country. Congratulations to the USA Hawks.
Brian, it's been an absolute pleasure sitting beside you throughout those 3 games. It's been an incredible journey and experience that, you know, many years of hard work paying off. So
it's been fun.
I'm Steve Williams. With me, Brian Lowe from rugbyleagueplanet.com. This is the Firehouse Subs Rugby League World Cup qualifiers. Thanks very much for joining us. USA advances to the 2017 Rugby League World Cup.
And Merry Christmas.